Do you speak from stage but sell nothing? Everyone rants and raves about how awesome a speaker you are, and no doubt you are, but for some mystery, no one is signing up for your programs. No one is signing up for a freebie, even if you're giving them a 15 or 30-minute discovery session. So we're going to talk today about why your speaking is keeping you broke. I am, of course, Tanya Target. I am an award-winning news journalist and an international speaker. And I'm doing this Facebook Live with you to answer your questions as well, to share some really cool tips and insights into why your speaking isn't landing you any clients. I love what you have to say, but they are not buying in. And so we have, hey, Janet on the call. Oh, JJ, so great to have you here. I would love to take your questions as well. So we've got about 10 or 15 minutes of content. Then I'm going to be answering your questions. And I'm also going to invite you across to my closed Facebook group, Explode Your Expert Brand, where tomorrow I am going to be deep diving on this very topic, because we're going to be sharing a lot of really cool, awesome stuff that you're going to probably want to go a little bit deeper in. And so I would love to invite you across to my closed group, which is Explode Your Expert Brand. Come and join me in there for a deep dive on this tomorrow. We're going to have a little bit more a look about your sales funnel. That's one of the things that we are going to be discussing today. Just sharing this across as we speak into that group, so my students can join me there. So let's get cracking. My first question to you would be, as a speaker, is have you thought about how your talk fits into your entire program? So what a lot of people do is they just they get booked as a speaker, but they don't really stop to think about the end in mind. And for those of you who've trained with me in media and publicity, you'll know that I ask that end in mind question a lot. So my question to you is, how does that talk fit into the overall arch of what it is that you are selling? Because speaking from stage and selling from stage are two completely different things. And what you want to be able to do as a small business owner or an entrepreneur is you want to not only speak from stage, but you want to sell. And here's the beautiful thing. When you get it right, when you speak to stage, leaving little gaps in what you were saying, then you end up selling without even having to sell. What I find a lot of speakers do is they just want to teach. And that can be really overwhelming for the audience. For number one, they feel like they've got to go away and digest everything before they come and work with you a little bit more. Or they feel like they've got so much that you've completely solved their problem. And something that I really had to get my head around is I am a natural teacher, and I really do want to help people, just like you do really want to help people. And so we feel like we want to give them everything. But what I really need you to understand is that if you give them everything, or try to give them everything in a 15-minute talk, in a 25-minute talk, in a 45-minute talk, if you try to give them everything, you're doing them a huge disservice. Because if they feel like they've got everything, they're not going to come and work with you. And I don't know about you, but I can't teach everything I know in 45 minutes. I can't teach everything that you need to know as a speaker, as a new speaker, as an established speaker. I can't teach you everything you need to know to get media and publicity in 45 minutes or even in a day. But because we tend to be heart-centered, and because we naturally want to help people, we want to kind of throw the bathroom sink at them. And that does two things. They either think, I've got so much, I need to go away and implement that before I work with this person anymore, or they completely shut down as well. So we need to think about the end in mind. So how does that talk fit into what we are ultimately selling? Hey, Melissa, great to have you on the call. Obviously also I introduced you to Tiffany just the other day, so I'd love to see you awesome speakers connect as well. Tiffany is an Aussie but based here now in the US like myself, coming down under, and I tagged you the other day, so I'd love to get you awesome ladies connected there. So with speaking, we need to think about where does that fit into what this thing is called a sales funnel. Now, I was speaking from stage. I've been speaking from stage for a really long time, but not selling. And when I did try to sell, no one bought. And I was really shocked. and I will admit, a little bit offended. Why didn't anyone want my stuff? I was sharing really good stuff and I was offering it at a really good price, but no one was buying it. Everyone was coming up and saying, "Oh, such a great talk, Tanya. You're such a great speaker. I love your stuff." But no one was buying what I was selling, and that's because I wasn't selling it right. So who here watching can relate to that? Or if you're joining me a little bit later and you're watching the replay, who can relate to that? That people come and compliment you on your talk, but they're just not spending that money. And that big piece for me was, and when I work with my students, the big thing for me is, where are we going? Like, what's the final product? What do you need the time to spend with them? What do you need 2 days, 3 days, 7 days? Or if you're doing online, what do you need in 5 videos? What do you need a 5-week program? What is that big piece that needs time? And then we've got to break that big piece down into little chunks so that those chunks then fit into the sales funnel. So then we go, okay, well, and I use Post-it notes. I use Post-it notes on a mirror when I do this for myself, or when I do this for when I'm working with students and clients. I have a look at where we are going and what that big piece is, and then I start to break it down. And obviously you're going to teach some stuff, because we need to teach a little bit, because we need to establish authority and credibility. So what we want, or what we need for people watching us in that room, is they need to know, like, and trust us like anybody does when we want them to continue the conversation with us. But we need to show that we are an expert. And one of the fastest ways to show that you are an expert is to speak from the front of the room and to teach. But we need to teach just a little bit to establish our authority and our credibility as an expert. We need to teach to show them that not only are we the expert, but we are the expert that can help them. And that's something that they need to come to arrive at in their own mind. So we can't say, I'm the expert for you. What we need to do is we need to show them that we are the expert for them by speaking in their language, and also giving some teaching points that are going to ease a little bit of their problem, a little bit of their pain, but not solve the whole thing. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. And, you know, a lot of people go wrong unintentionally, because you come from a beautiful place, and you come from that beautiful place of, you want to help. And if you want to help, you've got to hold back. Okay, you've got to hold back. I had to learn how to do this, and I swear it really did break my brain, because I felt like, are they going to think I'm a con artist? Are they going to think that, to use an Australian term, are they going to think that I'm a little bit dodgy because I'm not telling them everything that I know? Are they going to think ill of me because I'm holding back, and they can see that I'm holding back? But we want to do it in a certain way, and in a way that makes sense. So when I speak, I have in my media and publicity program, my sales funnel consists of either 3 or 4 products, depending on which sales funnel I'm using. So I have a live talk from stage, which online is a webinar version. Sometimes it might be a Facebook Live version. And then I can sell into either a free online program, which is free, but when I say sell, we still have to get everybody to give us their real email address so we can continue that conversation. In the live world, it goes to speaking either in a 15-minute, 25-minute, or 45-minute, typically into a half-day live event, or some kind of strategy session, which is worded in a particular way. I'm not a fan of free consults. It has to be worded in a particular way. And that'll be another Facebook Live topic I'll do another point in time, but just sharing with you my funnel. So we then go from either that strategy session into either online or another live training, or in my half-day live training into a fuller version. So I break all that down and I go, well, if this is where we are going, okay, so say I'm going to Las Vegas, or say I'm going to Sydney, or say I'm going to London, what are the stops along the way that I need to put some fuel in so that the car can still keep going there? But also, if I have passengers in the car, I want to make the scenery as interesting as possible. I don't want to drive that long trip and have everybody fall asleep and I arrive at the destination on my own. So think about the stops that you need to make in that sales funnel to keep people invested, to give them a little bit of what they need, but still catch their attention to keep them going. And to do that, you need to hold back and to plan that initial talk that you are giving and teach, but not completely solve the problem. Now, lots of different marketing coaches have different names for this. A very common name for this is the pain path. We have pain solution. So what happens is that a customer or potential customer has a pain. We give them a little bit of the solution, but in giving them that solution, it shows up another pain, and then we solve that problem. It then creates another pain point. So if we had a talk, using that as an example, if we had a talk, we would have a problem. The speaker solves that problem, maybe 1, 2, or 3 teaching points, but there's all these other problems. So we've got the solution for that, but now there's all these other problems. Well, to get that solution, you now need to come and do this with me. Now I'm going to solve this problem. But in solving that problem, we've now got a new problem. So I've given you this solution. Now there's another new problem. And in order to get that, you need to come and do this with me. Now, is that ethical? Yeah, it is. But I had to get my head around it. I wasn't so sure if it was ethical. I felt, I'm just scrolling comments here, I feared that my audience would think that that was unethical because I had all this extra information to share with them. But it is ethical, and it is actually in your customer or potential customer's interest. Because if you try to solve all these problems in one talk, you're going to completely overwhelm them, and you're going to do them a massive disservice because they're not going to come and train with you further. They're not going to come and spend time with you further, which means that you don't get to solve the bigger problem. So thinking about your talk, your signature talk, and how it fits into that overarching product that you're ultimately directing your customer or potential customer into, so that you can work with them to give them that transformation. So what I'm going to do is I'd love to invite you into my Facebook group, because what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm actually going to deep dive on this. I'm going to go even further. I potentially have overwhelmed you just at this point. So I'd love to invite you into Explode Your Expert Brand Facebook group. I'm just posting it into the comments here right now for you so you can get it. And I'm going to do a Facebook Live just inside that group on a deep dive on this. What I would love to know is, what does your sales funnel look like? Have you even thought about where your talk fits into what you are selling? And here's the beautiful thing about this. There's ways that we do this. So for instance, I will say, look guys, I'm going to share with you what your talk is and what your isn't about due to the time that we have here today. Like I have just literally done that right now. I said, this is the problem. This is a little bit of the solution. But if you want to get the next problem solved from your speaking, come into my Facebook group, because tomorrow we're going to deep dive. Now from there, who knows where we're going to go? I have a freebie there for you. If you haven't already got it, I recommend you do so. And that is to also grab your free media one sheet or your speakers pack. This is something that I have used to get booked across Australia and across the US as well, speaking from small rooms to audiences of over 1,200 people. So we want to solve that initial problem, give that initial solution, but not solve the whole problem. You just want to show them that you are an expert on this. You have authority, that you have skills and knowledge, and that those skills and knowledge can help them. But avoid the biggest mistake, which is just trying to give the entire solution, because you're trying to help them so much, you do them a massive disservice. So come across to my Facebook group, Explode Your Expert Brand, and tomorrow we are going to do another Facebook Live, and I would love to have a look at your sales funnel and how your initial talk, that initial entry into your sales funnel, what it looks like. And if you don't have a sales funnel, you really need to be on this call, because I'm going to talk to you about what that sales funnel could look like and how to really, really quickly get started. Can you recommend anyone to write your speaker bio? Melissa, you mean in terms of a copywriter? Because there are plenty of people out there. If you know how to write a press release, if you've done media and publicity training with me, you will know how to write your speaker bio. But meanwhile, I can connect you, if you would like me to some people who can write your bio for you. You will typically pay around about 950 US and the equivalent in Australia to get someone to write your speaker's bio for you. I recommend that you do get my speakers pack because it has all the elements laid out there for you, what you have. If you're not sure how to use it, please go back and watch last week's live Facebook training where I went into some of the details of what was in that speaker's bio. The big takeaway from today, though, is if you are not thinking about your talk from the front of the room being the entry point into your sales funnel, you really need to think about that, because that's what it is. And here's the cool thing too. Quite often as speakers, we speak from the front of the room and we are unable to make a direct offer because the rules of that networking group prohibit us from making a direct offer. When you get this right, when you know how to solve a problem, when you know how to solve a pain, but open a new problem, another marketing term for it is an open loop. When you know how to solve a problem with a solution and open a new problem, you can sell without selling, because people will come and connect to you after your talk. I seem to have a little bit of technology issues there. But guys, come and join me in my Facebook group, Explode Your Expert Brand, and we will deep dive tomorrow on your sales funnel. So excited that you join me. Thank you so much. Have an amazing